Hey guys, how's it going? So I'll start this video with a quick comparison with the specs here, showing you all the details. Then at the end of this video, I'm actually going to put some clips of playing Fortnite. I'm gonna make some other videos as well. I don't want to make this video way too long, but I'm gonna show you as many details and good information as possible. What else? Also pricing. I'm gonna link all the websites or some of them where you can actually get any of these three cards, and you can decide what's a good value for you, and or if you have the money to spend and you want something nicer, you choose what you want to do after this video. Or all right, so first of all, RX6400. I bought it in 2022. I actually sold it to a friend. He has it, he now has it, and I actually borrowed it just to make this video. It used to be $170. Now you can get it for like $130, which is super good, to be honest. Now that's a good value, but $170 was like way too much for this. But anyways, so here you can pause it. I don't know if I should go through all the details, but I'll point out like the main ones, which is it's a low profile. They all come with a high profile bracket, but also the low profile included. So it's a low profile single slot. It's a 45 watt TDP. But one thing a lot of people don't like much about this is that it only runs a PCIe Gen 4x4 lanes. And with my system, it's actually running on PCIe Gen 3x4. Because I'm using a Gen 3 processor, RYZEN 5 5600G. So anyways, you can pause this to read all the details. So it has 4 gigs of GDDR6. It's based on RDNA2 and 64-bit bus width. That's the bandwidth, basically. Not bandwidth, but the bus, the interface. So 96 and 128 is even better, but yeah, that's it for that. Also, now this is my main graphics card as of now. I'm gonna get something nicer in the future, but I like building like I'll say weird, or using stuff that nobody has, and this is not so common. So especially for tiny PCs, this is actually pretty good. So it's the Msi Rtx 3050, 6 GB of GDDR6. It's a Hynix instead of Micron like this, and the bus width is actually 96-bit, a bit better, and it runs on PCIe Gen 4x8 lanes. It says by 16 here just because the connection, it's a 16 lane, it's a full length. But I mean, don't even mind this. Whenever you push this, then it goes up to like Gen 3 or Gen 4, depending on what system you're using, or what's the PCIe connection you have. So in my case it's Gen 3, but like as you can see here, it was running on Gen 1, just because you're not using it. Whenever you start actually using it, it will like change this number here. So it was PCIe Gen 8x3. You can pause it to read all of the details. So this was released now in 2024. This is a 2022 card. Yeah, this is the GPU, basically the chip in it, and I'm gonna put a link in the description, like a list in the description below, where you can see the die size. I don't know why it's not showing it here. I believe it's over 200 millimeters square mm2. All right, and lastly, these two are supposedly the same. And the only difference I see, but I only see it here on paper when I was playing, to be honest, the boost clock speed, the GPU clock, and the default, they were actually going up like around about that. Sometimes I think a little more, sometimes a little less. Resizable bar is enabled in in all the cases, and yeah, you can pause it to read the descriptions. So they're basically similar. Whatever I told you about this, the same here. The only big difference, like on the actual hardware, is that this has a single blower fan, this has dual regular fans, and it's a dual slot. I don't know if you can tell here. Dual slot, low profile, both of them, but this is the, I don't know, this is $175. Sometimes you can get a different version from another brand for like 170. This was $210. I know you can get something way better than this, but for a small form factor, the only competitor to this is actually this, and it's underpowered. Also the ARC A310, it's also 4 GB of VRAM graphics card. And besides that, we also have the A2000, but that's a dual slot. I think the ARC A380 you can swap, if you get the one from Sparkle, you can swap the cooler and make it a single slot, but this is way more not way more powerful, but a bit more powerful than the ARC A380. And drivers and updates, and for in most games this will perform better overall, to be honest. So all right, let's go now with this. Let me show you real quick. I'll try to be as quick as possible. So these were my results on TimeSpy. So this was using, I'll zoom it here, Ryzen 5 5600 GT on all of them. I did this last night, and this is the graphics core for the Sapphire Plus for the RX6400. So you can see here, come on, right there, 6400. So overall 3982. I know you can get a little higher. Someone got 3902 using the same processor, so I guess mine was a bit higher. So the graphics core was only 3659. I know it can go a bit higher if I were running on PCIe Gen 4 instead of Gen 3. So now this is the Msi Rtx 3050, the 6 GB version, like I said. And here the best score is actually 5000. That's like worldwide using the 5600 GT. It's actually 50. Come on. 5347. So I was kind of close to that. So the graphics core, that's the actual graphics card, is 4815 combined, 5134, and that's my CPU score. Now look at this. This is the instead of the MSI, the single slot Yeston graphics was slightly lower, and I'm gonna show you some other details so you can see the temps and compare it yourself. You can, I don't want to make this video too long, but you can pause it and read and zoom into the video so you can see more details. So yeah, 4705 here, slightly better. Yeah, and the processor, yeah, it was about the same for the CPU score. Now I'm gonna add these two real quick that we're not supposed to be part of these, but I wanted to point this out. These are not my results. I mean, this is not. I grabbed this from the internet. So this was with the i7 6700, and this is the ARC A380. So it's a dual slot from what's the brand, ASRock. So it performs better than this on the RX6400. Slightly better. The CPU wasn't the best, and resizable bar was disabled, and you actually need it. But with a 6th gen processor, it's not really that that nice. So it was the i7 6700. So anyways, and now I'll say this is the most powerful graphics card, like low profile, that doesn't need external power like the RTX 4060. Sorry. So 6381. So that was a bit higher. I'll say about 20% higher, better than the RTX 3050. But obviously the price of this is double. Also, I know the ARC A380 sometimes can get kind of close to the RTX 3050, but never as good. But the price is double, so it's like $400 to $500 right now. You need the mini DisplayPort to regular DisplayPort adapter, and yeah, it's a 70 watt TDP, I believe, both of them. This is 45 watts, the Sapphire, I'm pretty sure. This is actually 45 as well. This does the ARC A380, low profile, dual slot, and this is a 70 TDP, like, yeah. right, so now let me show you, what am I doing? Sorry. All right, let me show you. This is just a picture of the 3 cards. And sorry, let me show you. Yeah, this is a comparison that I'll be doing and uploading pretty soon. These two, like, doing more game testing and other stuff. So yeah, sorry about that. Oh, come on, this thing, sorry. And what else? So let me show you now. Yeah, this part here, so you can look at the temps. We'll do it running time spy. The average temp on this card was 69. You can pause it to read all the details. And the Yeston was 70. So I usually see like 1 or 2 degrees hotter, like overall, to be honest. Here the processor was working a bit more, I guess, 67 versus 61. So yeah. What else? Like I said, oh, so I have these. You can pause it now. And yeah, here are all the details and the temp. So the Yeston versus the MSI versus the Sapphire Pulse. So this is a type of test. So gaming max temps right here, gaming average temp right here, and benchmark. So the Yeston, like, it's purplish. I put the purple bar, green for the Msi Rtx 3050, and even though both of them are like the same, and the Pulse AMD, so I went with red. So 66, 71, and 75. So let me see. So that was the stress in it. So it went up to 66. So it runs pretty cool, to be honest, the RX6400. The MSI 71 Celsius, and it was a room temp. Like my bedroom, the AC off, and it's like 70 Fahrenheit in here, so, or 69. And yeah, so the Yeston was slightly higher than the RTX 3050, but yeah, and a bit louder too. So take that into consideration. I wish I had a decibel meter, but I don't. So Sapphire Pulse. So this was the average gaming temp. So 64. So it's slightly lower than you know, than a stress test. 68 for the MSI and 71 for the Yeston. So it runs a little hotter, but not as bad. So Sapphire Pulse 66, that was the gaming max temp ISO. So it was like, yeah, it wasn't going above that, so that was good. One thing, I have it on an M-ATX tower, so it's not like inside any what you call it, small form factor. I know the temps could be a little higher, so just watch for your airflow basically. So 66, that was the gaming max. The 3050 went up to 69, that was the highest while gaming, but the average was like 68, sometimes a bit lower, sometimes a bit more. And the Yeston 72, that was like the average, sometimes 71, sometimes a bit more. That was like, but the highest I saw while gaming was actually 72. So now let me show you what pricing. Yeah, so here you can get it on Amazon. I bought it directly from their website. I'm gonna put the link in the description below. So yeah, it was $209, $174 for these. Like I said, you can get one of these like from Asus or Asus or whatever it's called, for a bit cheaper, I believe. And Gigabyte has another version. I believe some other brands, they have their version of this low profile card. So the Sapphire, finally, it's just like 127, which is pretty good, and 120 for the ASRock. So it all depends. It's a dual slot, single slot. Here, dual slot, single slot. And yeah, I guess that was it. Yep, just make sure I went through everything. You can pause it and read. I believe the more important information here will be these and the temps right there. So thank you for watching, and let's see how they perform on gaming.